How we getting on, folks? Look at hands up. I got it wrong there today. Um, the ground just really played against us. I went into today thinking there was going to be a clean sweep for Willie Mullins. Thinking obviously, look at it's his playground usually, but it ended up turning out to be his graveyard today. Um, Nothing really to explain other than horse just got caught in the ground. Um, the fact that the inside track was just a little bit tore up, a little bit, I suppose, impossible to race on. Basically, like it was just so sticky and soft and heavy and everything else like that. It just didn't really go our way there today. But we'll pick ourselves up. We'll dust ourselves off. Navan on tomorrow seems to be a fairly decent day. There are some big prices in here. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'd rather just crack on with it. But the first race off, the 12:20, I just simply can't get past River de Tell at even money. I think it should be certainly odds on. Should be a short odds on horse as well. It's the clear form horse at the end of the day, and when you put it all into consideration, River de Tell is the one with the most improvement and the one with the scope to more improvement. When all things considered, look at Gordon Elliott. Obviously, look at he had the winner of the Thyestes there today, and he had a fairly decent day all round. The fact that he's only up the road from Navan as well, that certainly plays into his hand. Like Willie Mullins, he likes to get them ready. I know it didn't work out today, but look at it. It's just the way it is. I think River de Tell is a sure thing tomorrow. I think even money is a brilliant price for him. And we should be seeing this horse absolutely hose up here in ground that we know now that he likes. 12.50 then. We're going to stick with the same connections here, but we're just going to put in a bit of a cover bet just to cover ourselves basically. Falcano at 10 to 11. You would be expecting this horse to go and win this race here, obviously at the price he is. I still think he's at a fairly nice price. Considering his overall potential and more scope to improvement. When you think he was only 6 lengths behind um, one of the Jigginstown horses. The name has just gone out of my head now. There's so many to think. No, can't think for whatever reason, but it was a very good performance that particular day. Any sort of improvement should see him beat this field altogether, but there's one here that I am going to cover myself with, and I'll explain what I'm doing here at the minute. Camp Belan at 16 to 1 each way for Shark Hanlon. Now, this one here is a little bit interesting. It's owned by Michael Goff, and I suppose anyone that knows the industry with any sort of real conviction, they know that Michael Goff is a man known for selling his horses on after, I suppose, one or two runs in rules. So the fact that he was third in a point to point last time out, I know. Look, he was 9 lengths behind. He was a fair bit behind that particular day, but look at it, it's hard to know. Look at when you seen Shark's horse there today in the second race in the Lady Riders race run a very big race at 20 to 1. It's clear to see that the horses from Shark's Yard are in form. I'm just going to put it down there that it could be a bit of a danger, and for this particular bet that I'm going to be doing, it's really the only danger in my personal opinion. And if it is, it's going to be a lovely little each way bet at 16 to 1. But realistically, and I suppose all things considered, you would be expecting this Falcano to beat this field at a fairly easy canter now tomorrow at 10 to 11. Finally, or not finally, well, finally for this particular bet, this is going to be the short price treble for tomorrow. 125, Gardaso at 1 to 2. Again, look, at all things considered, you would be expecting this horse to hose up. It's the clear standout form horse of this particular race. Possibly even this particular meeting when you think of like the opposition is coming up against. I would be expecting this horse to hose up now tomorrow, and I will put my hands up if I am wrong, but realistically there's nothing really there to suggest otherwise, and I definitely think, all things considered, that this horse should be well capable of putting this field to sleep anyway at a fairly short price. Now that's the short price treble and the each way in the second one cover. Now moving on to the rest of the day, most of these are going to be each way shouts because the field is just so open. I'm just going to turn on the lights there now just because it's getting a little bit dark. 155 Ishka Sullis here at 8-1. This one for me looks to be realistically a very, very decent each way sort at a fairly nice price. Now, when you think of the last day it ran in Naas, if I'm not mistaken, it was a bloodless winner. Like it just galloped away with the field easy as you like. I think it was a 12 length winner that particular day. It's gone up £12 obviously since then, but Ishka Sullis comes good around this time every year. Realistically, it's late February, early March, sometimes even late January as well, all things considered. But realistically, when you're trying to pick out a winner here, I can't really see anything else in here that's going to, I suppose, put it up to that form. The fact that we don't really know what's going to stop Ishka Sullis off this sort of mark. Realistically, I think that this mare could improve to be, I suppose, £20 better than the Naas run. So when you think about it that way, realistically, the horse is £8 well in. That's just going from my own personal opinion now, but I just think that Ishka Sullis at 8-1 is a bit of a steal at an each way price. The fact that they're paying 4 places on Bet365, it just gives that little bit of an added comfort as well. And the fact that it's a quarter of the odds, if it comes in the top 4, it's nearly as good as a 2-1 winner. Well, no, it's not, but it pays out 2-1 for a place. But the way I see it, Ishka Sullis is one of the main ones in here that's in form, and although it's taken a bit of a hike in the weights, it's hard to really see what's going to stop her tomorrow. And I think given a clear round of jumping, she should definitely be thereabouts in the finish. Moving on then to the 230, I put this up last week. I'm going to stick with my guns and stick with my own, I suppose, personal vendetta. I'm going to be going with Robert Tyner's horse here now with Mark Walsh on board. Sir Bob, currently priced in around 16-1. It's not quite the 25-1 we got last week, but as we, I suppose, all predicted, like it was gambled a little bit, and it was having a few people backing it each way and all that sort of thing. But look at the fact that it's generally a better hurdler than it is a chaser. I know there is an awful lot of duck eggs at the end of his form book. The fact that he just didn't really take the chasing is another thing. The fact that he was second in his only course appearance in Navan in soft to heavy ground over hurdles, beating a fairly decent sort of a field that realistically went on to win. I suppose a couple of them went on to win next time out or the time after that. So when you think about it that way, Sir Bob, off this sort of mark, he's well capable. There's no doubt about it. Like, he's well capable of putting in a very decent run. The fact that Mark Walsh is on board obviously sparks plenty of interest. I just think that this horse could be a little bit thrown in here now tomorrow, and I think if he can regenerate any sort of form and I suppose rejuvenate his former self, I think he's got a stunning chance in here at 16-1. Obviously, the fact that he is 16-1, I would be suggesting each way, but don't be surprised to have a bit of a shock here now tomorrow. I just think that there's a little bit of a squeak there for him. 3 o'clock then, the nap of the day. The big dog comes in here in around 9-4 for Peter Fahey and Kevin Sexton. Obviously, look at them two, jockey and trainer combination. Like, it's a match made in heaven between the two of them. I think Kevin and Peter, when the two of them team up, they were sporting a strike rate of in around 66%, which is absolutely crazy. But all things considered, the big dog, it was well fancied the day when it fell in Thurles, when travelling fairly strongly. It put up a very decent race last time out. I think the day has come for him. I think the fact that he's coming up against Lord Royal, who was a horse that I was following, and it's broke my heart a couple of times now at this stage. Lord Royal's a bit of a cliff horse for me. I'm not really ready to give up on him at the moment, but at that sort of a price for a horse that's known to have a few issues with jumping, and I suppose have a few issues with his running as well, is certainly a bit tricky to, I suppose, make a case for him at that price. But the big dog at 9-4, obviously, when all things considered, he definitely looks to be the best horse in the race, and with the most potential of improvement. I think 9-4 isn't going to last, personally speaking. I think he's going to be punted in even shorter than that. And overall, I certainly think that he's got a great squeak in here. 335 then, another each way shout in here. Actually, this is going to be my next best of the day. Marshalled in here at 13-2. We're going to stick with Mark Walsh again. This one, obviously, look at coming from Roach's stable, if I'm not mistaken. It's it's a hard one to know, really, whether Marshall is going to be able to get back to his usual self, the time that he won in Clonmel that particular day in soft to heavy ground. I just think that he's a little bit thrown in. And I know I went for... Who did I go for the last day? In Navan. Just going back here now. I went with Johnny's Girl. Yeah, I went with Johnny's Girl for Norman Lee the last day. But I just think that there was a bit of a punt for Marshall the last day. And there was a serious gamble on before it was taken out. Or before the race meeting was cancelled. I just think he has a bit of a squeak. He was gambled the day he won in Clonmel, and he was, I suppose, fancied enough to go and do the business. But I don't know. I just think that if he can get back to his usual self, he has a serious chance in here. And I think the fact that it's a wide open contest, that could play to his favour as well. Obviously, look at when you put things into perspective, obviously Johnny's Girl is the most likely or the most deserving favourite anyway, without a shadow of a doubt. The win in Limerick last time out was very impressive, and the fact that Garroge Bruder takes the ride again. Garroge, I'm a big fan of him. He's won me plenty of money in the past. I just think that realistically it's a hard one to know. I just think at a better price, Marshall is a better bet at an each way perspective. And finally then, the 410 is going to be my patron pick today, so I'm not going to be covering it. Now, for those of you who were following the patron, we obviously had a winner there today. My pick in Navan didn't run, so I changed my tip to Ornate in Suddle there today. Just got up by a snot. I don't know how it did, but it really did pay out fairly nicely. A price of 5-2 when tipped up there this morning. So look at we tip up horses as well as, I suppose, do monthly giveaways and everything else considered. For a tenner a month, it's definitely one of the most reasonable priced premium services you could get. Just for those who might want to be signing up now at the start of the month. Yeah, it's an automatic payment every first of every month. So realistically, if you want to sign up but you don't want to pay for the rest of January as well as pay for February as well in a couple of days, I would be suggesting maybe just to wait off until February. But if that's not an issue for you, I'll leave a link in the description below. Nobody's forced to do anything. Nobody holds a gun to your head. Obviously, look at the winners that we have had there this week. I picked out 2 there Monday. Ryan picked out a fairly nice drifter there yesterday, and I got another 5-2 winner there today. So realistically, like, the money is there to be made, and we're there to try and help people make money as well. And as well as that, like, the more people that sign up, the closer we really get to think about starting up our own racing club and starting up our own little bit of a setup out here. But look, that's all I really have time for. That's all I'm going to say in the matter. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. Obviously, since Thurles, we've gotten a nice boost in subscribers on the YouTube, so that's greatly appreciated. Obviously, look, I'm very sorry I couldn't repay the favour there today, but look, tomorrow's another day, and tomorrow we will be back, hopefully ready to rock again. Thanks very much. Best luck tomorrow.